There's an old saying that you should never meet your heroes because it could be disappointing and they might not be who you expected them to be. In my case, I believe my heroes should never meet me because they might suffer embarrassing defeat at my hands. Yeah, that title's not clickbait. I beat Ash in a battle. I went to a convention to see Veronica Taylor, who is the voice of Ash Ketchum, Micaiah from Fire Emblem, among a bunch of other characters who I can't list because that would be too long. And I went with the intention of challenging Ash to a battle. And that's exactly what I did. With fire in my eyes as I walked up to the table, JoJo style, shonen energy flowing throughout my fingertips, as I said to the person working the card reader, who just so happened to be her daughter, I'm here to challenge Ash to a battle. I'm making it sound a lot cooler than it was. Didn't have to bring 8 badges, didn't have to challenge the Elite Four, didn't have to fight any shadowy organizations. All it took me was $100, about 2 hours of waiting in line, and a dream. So me and a friend of mine came back from a convention called Collecticon. It was a place where I think the most popular thing to do is trade Pokemon cards and treat them like they were a stock exchange where you exchange really popular ones for money, because that's what most of the booths were. But for the most part, it was okay. He and I are definitely not going on Saturdays anymore because it was just way too crowded, and waiting in line, definitely waiting an hour in line to get into the main building is bad enough. Having to wait another hour for a voice actor is... It's torture at that point, but well worth it, because now I can regale this story to you. We came in 2 separate cars, so that was a mistake one on our part, where we had to try to find parking, and we had 2 cars that we didn't know where to place them. I ended up driving over a curb and putting it in the grass, because I don't think I was supposed to do that, but other people were doing it, and I figured I can just kind of hide with them. When waiting at a convention line, it's not uncommon to wait like an hour to get into the building. Some of the really good ones that take place in the rural areas are shorter and don't take that long, but for voice actors in particular, those lines could last all day. You're there for, what, maybe 6 hours, but most of your time will be waiting in line if you choose to do that. As my friend puts it, he says that it is a scam because you are paying to be waiting in line, and honestly, it's not an exaggeration, because you're waiting an hour to be there, and if you were there to get a signature from any of the big boys, like, I know Goku's voice actor was there, Stephen Bloom himself, the voice actor for like Spike from Cowboy Bebop, he was there too, but we didn't even see him. Like we're pretty sure that he must have gotten his own room or something, because when walking by all the voice actors, we couldn't even see his banner. Other people that were there, even for just the smallest line, was maybe an hour bare minimum. We were lucky to get there when we did. So we got inside the building, we made the decision to go to Veronica Taylor's line, Ash Ketchum's line, because there was not going to be a faster alternative. It would have been nice to walk around the booths first to see if there was anything rare that we could have gotten our hands on before somebody else did, because as my friend puts it, there's a transaction going on every 5 seconds, and there's a possibility that something rare could have gotten bought up by somebody else, and that's just part of the risk when you go to a con. You have to make that split-second decision of what do you think is going to be the most efficient for the time that you're there. Are you going to carve off like an hour of your time to go see a voice actor, or are you going to buy stuff first and then end up waiting in a much longer line that will take you a much longer span of your life just sitting there waiting to get your signature? So we ended up going for the former, and I'd say that it ended up working pretty well. We weren't wrong to get there as fast as we could, because not a half hour later, there was maybe a stack of 20 people behind us. So if we were to have gotten in line 30 minutes after, and if we'd taken 30 minutes to look at everything, we'd have been toast. We'd have been there till closing time, which is not time that we had on our hands. So we got lucky. Before telling you about the actual interaction and showing you some pictures, I should tell you how meeting a voice actor works for one of these conventions. I'm sure most of you already know, but in general, what happens is you go to a table and they offer you just a certain amount of prices for a certain amount of activities. So an autograph would usually cost anywhere around $30 to $40, depending on who you're meeting. You also can get a signature that's paid separately, or you could get a combo of the two, which is what he and I ended up getting. You have the choice of paying either cash or card, which I highly recommend bringing cash to one of these things, because the sales tax apparently is a really big burden on them, or at least they'd have to pay more to go through that transaction and figure that out, rather than if you gave them cash. And it's also cheaper for you, too, because when you're getting an autograph, let's say you're spending $30 on it, right? You're using a credit card, that sales tax can be upwards of like $4 extra, so you're paying $34 instead of $30. If you're using cash, you're just paying $30, I think. I believe that's how that works, but it is pretty much across the board. I ended up getting a t-shirt there. Oh, I should have worn that t-shirt. Hold on. $20 for this t-shirt. That was originally $25 when I said that I was paid by card, but when I said that I also had cash, they were more than willing to let me get it for about $20, which really nice of them. I forget what their booth is called. It might have been called Pika Hut, but I think that it was actually just the brand of shirt that they had on a big banner there, just to tell them they had these kinds. If you haven't noticed, I'm also just a big fan of goofy t-shirts and bad puns, so this is the best of both worlds, to be honest. Back to Veronica Taylor. When we finally got up there, my buddy went first. He brought a thing of fan art that he wanted to give to her. It's funny because, as my friend puts it, she's way more detailed and drawn than Ash and May are, so it's like they didn't even belong in the same universe, but voiced by the same character. If he allows me, I will show his art here, because it is really good. He's a really good artist. He got to go first, and he got a picture with her and an autograph. He got his poster signed. He made 2 of them, so he got one for himself, one for her, and she loved it. So much, in fact, that she actually asked for his signature as well, which is something that Trina Nishimura also did when we went to her, and he also gave fan art to her. So that's just like a really cool thing. You know that stupid quote, you should never meet your heroes? Well, it's stupid, because you should go out there and you should run the risk of meeting people like Veronica Taylor. And Trina Nishimura, because she made an Easter egg cameo in this video. That just tells you how good she is. I'd also like to say that Veronica Taylor is a really sweet woman. She saw that he and I were just like a group together, both of us. So she said, hey, you know what, why don't we take a picture of both of you guys, like with me in the middle? Which is not something that voice actors typically do. Or maybe they do, maybe I just haven't met enough of them, but not a lot of them do that. So he and I ended up taking a picture with her, and it looks so good. Oh my god, we got to hold Pokeballs, and it just felt... This is what a con experience is all about. Like, definitely, if you have been sitting on going to one of these things for a while, do it. Just get out there. Just go. Shoo. Don't stop watching my video. Just go. So let me tell you about how I beat her. I challenged her to rock, paper, scissors. I brought down the hammer on Ash Ketchum. This is the hammer. And these are the nails. Okay, no, I'm sorry. That's no more puns, I promise. I told the girl behind the counter, who, as I mentioned, was her daughter, that I wanted to take a special picture where I challenged Ash to a battle, and by the time that she and I made the final release, just rock, paper, scissors, that was when I wanted that special moment taken with a picture. So, we ended up going for a first round, and this is what ended up happening.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3!
Like all good Pokemon fights, this one was a close match. We ended up tying in the first go, because you want to keep it interesting. You never want to win first hand, or you never want to lose right out of the gate. And also, mounting pressure, by the way. We were in that line for like an hour, and I was thinking of... I was using that endless time to figure out my strategy, just thinking, what would be best to throw? I got it. I'm gonna go scissors. For no other reason than it would have been visually appealing for a picture. So, after that, we ended up doing it again, and this is what happened.
Oh my god, okay,
Do we
wait
have to keep going?
I mean, you can't if you want.
Okay. 1, 2, 3!
Didn't expect the second one, did you? I beat Ash!
I almost went scissors again.
I do feel slightly embarrassed because I shouted pretty loud, and I'm hoping that I didn't scare her. I was just super excited. I couldn't hold myself back. If Veronica Taylor is watching, I am sorry. So after that, we exchanged goodbyes. Waiting in that line was definitely worth it, and I got my camera back, to which she said, her daughter, she said that she ended up taking a video instead of a picture, which is usually something that voice actors charge extra for. You don't take a video, or at least you don't make a video without paying maybe an additional $20, because that's just part of their business. But they were really cool about it and allowed me to use the footage for this video that I'm making for you now, so big props to them. And at this point, I'll make a shout out to them. They run a podcast that I think is called Trainer's Guide, where it's Pokemon themed. I took one listen in on it, and it seems like they have a good amount of fun talking back to each other. So link in the description below. Go give them some love, because they really deserve it. They're nice people. After that, we ended up just walking around the con, me and my friend, as we saw what kind of fun stuff there were. We tried Gamer Supps for the first time, and oh my god. Like, it's a lot better than I expected. While we were there, we ended up doing something we never thought that we'd do. We ended up buying figures. So I guess we're that level of weebs now. Except I'm probably worse so than him. He ended up getting a couple of One Piece characters. He got a Nico Robin and a Sanji, which he brought to my attention that I never thought was true. But whenever you go to a convention, a Nico Robin is never anywhere to be seen. She's always sold out. And I called his bluff on it, but nearly every booth that we went to, especially one where we bought something additional, where we were looking for the last Nico Robin of a collection of bills that had characters' faces on them, he ended up getting the last one. That is just bizarre. I don't know why people are such a big fan of her, but I guess it's just because I'm not a One Piece stan. I haven't seen it, so boy, am I going to get hate for that one. But it doesn't matter, because I ended up getting my own waifu. It's a Miku. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a big Miku Nakano guy. I jumped on the Church of Miku hype train back in 2018 when the show came out, and I never got off it. So really, this is just my favoritism incarnate, only I'm glad that she's mine and not Futaro's. I've always been hard on buying figures because it always just feels like you can get a copy of that figure or something similar to it. They all look the same. Now, with this one in particular, I've never seen anything quite like it, so I decided to heck with it. Because he and I didn't really burn our wallets that much either. Of course, I ended up getting this shirt, and I also ended up getting another figure of Memcho from Oshinoko. Yeah, no, I like Mem. She's, for no other reason other than the horns, because I think that's really cute. She'll also look good on a shelf. And also, once I finally move out, I'll be able to get my own place, and I'll have an entire shelf to store all these things on. There is so much merchandise that I get from these things that I want to decorate a whole wall with. So, we'll get there eventually. And before this video is out, I have another bonus clip to share with you. For a long time, my friend and I have gone back and forth on just openings and just scenes in anime that we don't think are possible in real life, where he dunks on me for it by saying, it doesn't matter, like, why are you so hung up on this, Austin, that you're just being a goof? Whereas I say, no, if they're going to go for animated realism, then damn it, they should follow that realism. So the thing that I've been harping on for like the last month and a half was in the new Spice and Wolf, there's an opening. There is the first opening where Holo is in a cart taking a bite out of a big pretzel, and she's able to take a really unrealistic bite out of the pretzel, and I don't know why that just lives in my head rent-free, but I needed to disprove it, and that's what it ended up doing. So here's a bonus clip for you guys.
Witness. It can't be done. Skill issue.
I hate him. I'm telling you, it can't be done. Like, it's unrealistic. It doesn't work. Sorry. Maybe it's because I'm not part wolf and I don't have a wolf's mouth, but I say haberdash because she was a human girl, and I am not a human girl, but I think I have a bigger mouth than one, and I took as best a bite out of that pretzel as I could, and to no avail. So, that is that. Independent research wins again. He and I had a really good time. We ended up going to like a Barnes & Noble afterwards and just walking around for a bit, recollecting. If you ever are sitting on going to a con, I highly recommend you do that. Definitely go with some friends as well, because they really make the most of it. And it also just makes waiting in line so much better because they have something to talk to, or someone to talk to. I can't imagine what it would have been like just sitting there, like, having my anxiety rise. I'm just waiting to challenge another voice actor to rock, paper, scissors. Maybe I can make that a thing. Who knows? And then I can make voice actors fear my presence when they see me and they go, "Oh God, it's antagonist. God, what's he gonna throw? Oh, I better practice." And also, when you go, just be sure you bring cash instead of a credit card, because it's just cheaper and works out better for everybody involved, including you. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Sayonara, suckers.